So following Monkey King's new appointment in heaven as the great sage equaling heaven with a heavenly residence beside the peach orchard, can we expect peace to reign? Or is there more chaos in store? This is chapter 5, part 1. The story goes on to relate that the great sage equaling heaven, a mere monkey devil after all, was quite satisfied that his name was on the register of office without caring about the grading of his job and his own rank or the size of his salary. The immortal clerks in the 2 offices in his residence were in constant attendance on him. He had 3 meals a day and a bed to sleep on at night, and he lived a free and easy life without worries. In his spare time, he would visit the other palaces, get together with his old friends and make new ones. When he saw the 3 pure ones, he would address them as venerable, and when he saw the 4 emperors, he called them Your Majesty. He was on fraternal terms with the 9 bright shiners, the generals of the 5 regions, the 28 constellations, the 4 great heavenly kings, the gods of the 12 branches, the 5 ancients of the 5 regions, the star ministers of the whole sky, and the countless gods of the Milky Way. One day he would wander east, another day he would go west, coming and going by cloud and never staying anywhere for long. When the Jade Emperor was holding his morning court one day, the immortal Zhu of Jingyang came forward from the body of officials, kowtowed, and suggested, "The great sage equaling heaven is spending his time on idle travel, and is making the acquaintance of all the stars in the sky, calling all of them his friends. It would be as well to give him some responsibility and prevent his idleness leading to trouble later on." The Jade Emperor's response to this suggestion was to send for the Monkey King at once. He came in a cheerful mood and asked, "What promotion and reward have you summoned me here to receive, Your Majesty?" "Seeing that you are idle and have nothing to do," replied the Jade Emperor, "we are giving you a job. You are to administer the peach garden, and you will give it your attention day and night." The great sage was overjoyed, and after expressing his thanks and whooping with delight, he withdrew. In his eagerness to be at work, he went straight to the peach orchard to have a look round. When he got there, he was stopped by a local guardian god who asked him, "Where are you going, great sage?" "I've been put in charge of the peach orchard by the Jade Emperor, and I've come to inspect it." The local god hastened to greet him formally, and he called the men who weeded, brought water, looked after the trees, and swept the grounds to come and kowtow to the great sage. When some Wukong was taken inside, this is what he saw. Charming every tree, charming and luxuriant the full blossom, every tree weighed down with fruit. The fruit-laden branches bend like carding bows. The blossoming trees are covered with powder and rouge, always blossoming, always in fruit. They are ripe for 1,000 years. They know no summer or winter, but linger forever. The early ripeners look red-faced and tipsy. The ones still growing are green in stalk and skin. When the dew forms, their flesh has a touch of blue. While the sun picks out their vermilion beauty, below the trees exotic flowers grow, bright and unfading throughout the year. On either side stand towers and pavilions, and a rainbow always arches the sky. These are not the common breeds of the dark earth capital, but are tended by the Queen Mother of the Jade Pool. taking a good look at this, the great sage asked the local god, "How many of these trees are there?" 3,600 altogether, the local god replied. "The ones growing at the front have tiny blossoms and small fruits, and they ripen every 3,000 years. Anyone who eats them becomes an immortal and understands the way, and his body becomes light and strong. The 1,200 in the middle have multiple blossoms and sweet fruits and ripen every 6,000 years. Whoever eats them can fly and enjoy eternal youth. The back 1,200 are streaked with purple and have pale yellow stones. They ripen once every 9,000 years, and anyone who eats them becomes as eternal as heaven and earth, as long-lived as the sun and moon." The great sage was beside himself with joy on learning this, and that day he checked the number of trees and looked over the buildings in the orchard before going back to the residence. From then on, he went to admire them every 3 or 4 days. He dropped his friends and made no more pleasure jaunts. One day, he noticed that the peaches near the end of the branches of one old tree were all ripe, and he felt like trying one. But as the local god, the workmen and the immortal clerks from his residence were close on his heels, it was impossible. Suddenly, he had an idea, and he said, "Go and wait for me outside the gates while I take a nap in this summer house." All the immortals thereupon withdrew, and the Monkey King took off his official hat and clothes, climbed one of the bigger trees, and chose some large, ripe peaches. When he had picked a good number, he sat at his ease in the branches and ate his fill of them. Then jumped down from the tree, pinned on his hat, put on his clothes, and shouted for all his attendants to go back to his residence with him. 2 or 3 days later, he thought of another trick to steal some more peaches, and again he ate his fill of them. One day, the Queen Mother arranged a banquet, opening many precious pavilions for a feast of peaches by the Jade Pool. She sent the red fairy, the blue fairy, the white fairy, the black fairy, the purple fairy, the yellow fairy and the green fairy to the peach orchard with their baskets to pick peaches for the feast. The 7 fairies went straight to the orchard gates. The workmen of the orchard and the immortal superintendents of the 2 officers of the equal heaven residence were guarding the gate. The fairies went up to them and said, "We have come on the orders of the Queen Mother to pick peaches for a feast." "Wait a moment, please, immortal beauties," said the local god. "Things are different this year. The Jade Emperor has appointed the great sage, equaling heaven, to be the guardian of this orchard, and we must ask him before we can open the orchard for you." "Where is the great sage?" the fairies asked, and the local god replied, "Inside the orchard. As he was feeling tired, he's having a nap by himself in a summer house." "In that case, please find him without delay," requested the fairies, and the local god took them to the orchard. But all they could find of him in the summer house were his hat and clothes. They had no idea where he could have gone and looked everywhere without success. The great sage had in fact made himself only 2 inches tall after eating some of the peaches for fun, and he was sleeping under a large leaf at the top of one of the big trees. "We have come by decree and we cannot go back empty-handed, although the great sage is nowhere to be found," said the fairies. One of the immortal superintendents who was standing nearby replied, "As you immortal beauties have come by order of the Queen Mother, we must not delay you. Our great sage is always wandering off, so I expect that he's gone away to visit some of his friends. You'd better pick the peaches. It will be all right if we inform him on his return." The fairies did as he suggested and went into the orchard to pick peaches. First they filled 2 baskets from the trees in front, and then they picked 3 basketfuls from the peaches in the middle. But when they came to the trees at the back, they saw that peaches and blossoms were few and far between. Only a few unripe fruits with furry stalks and green skins were left. All the ripe ones had been eaten by the Monkey King. The 7 fairies looked everywhere, but all they could see was a single red and white peach on a southern branch. The blue fairy pulled the branch down, the red fairy picked the peach, and then let the branch go again. This woke up the great sage, who had changed himself into this peach to take a nap on this branch. He resumed his own form, took his gold-banded cudgel from his ear, shook it till it was as thick as a rice bowl, and shouted at them, "Where are you from, you thieving fiends?" The 7 fairies fell on their knees in confusion. "Please don't be angry with us, great sage. We're not fiends, but 7 fairies sent by Her Majesty the Queen Mother of the West to pick peaches of immortality and open the precious halls here for a feast of peaches. When we arrived here, we saw the local god and other deities of the place, but we could not find you, great sage. We could not delay carrying out the Queen Mother's orders, so we went ahead and picked the peaches without waiting for you, great sage. We hope very much that you will forgive us." These words turned the great sage's bad mood into a good one, and he said, "Please rise, fairy beauties. Who is the Queen Mother inviting to this feast?" There are old rules about who attends. The Buddha of the Western Heaven, Bodhisattva, holy monks, arhats, the Guan Yin of the South Pole, the merciful and sage Emperor of the East, the venerable immortals of the 10 continents and the 3 islands, the mystic divinity of the North Pole, the great yellow-horned immortal of the Yellow Pole at the centre. These make up the 5 venerable ones of the 5 regions. There will also be the Star Lords of the 5 constellations, the 3 pure ones, the 4 emperors, and the heavenly immortal of the great monad from the 8 high caves, the Jade Emperor, the immortals of the 9 mounds, and the gods of the seas and mountains, and the ruler of the netherworld from the 8 lower caves, and the terrestrial deities. All the major and minor gods of all the halls and palaces will come to the Feast of Peaches. "Will I be invited?" asked the great sage with an ingratiating smile. "Not as far as we've heard," the fairies replied. "I'm the great sage equaling heaven, so why shouldn't I be asked?" said the great sage. "That was what happened before. We don't know about this time," the fairies replied. "You're right," he said. "Just wait here while I go and find out whether I'm invited." Splendid great sage, making a magic with his hands. As he spoke, "Stay where you are." As this was an immobilizing spell, the 7 fairies were left standing in a daze under the peach tree with their eyes wide open, as the great sage leapt out of the orchard on a somersault cloud and headed for the Jade Pool. As he travelled, he saw that the sky shimmered with auspicious light, as clouds of many colours streamed across it. The white stork's cry made the heavens shake. 1,000 leaves grew on the purple asphodel. Amid it all an immortal appeared, carrying himself with heaven-sent elegance. As he danced on the rainbow, cloaked by the Milky Way, with a talisman at his waist to ward off birth and death. His name was Barefoot Immortal, and he was going to the feast of longevity-giving peaches. As the Barefoot Immortal saw him, the great sage lowered his head and thought of a plan by which to trick the immortal and get to the banquet himself. "Where are you going, reverend sir?" he asked, and the immortal replied, "I'm going to the peach banquet by the invitation of the Queen Mother." "There is something you do not know, venerable sir," said the great sage. "As my somersault cloud is so fast, the Jade Emperor has sent me everywhere to tell you gentlemen to go to the Hall of Universal Brightness for a ceremony before going on to the banquet." As the immortal was an open, upright and trusting man, he took this lie for the truth, but wondered. The Thanksgiving ceremony is usually held by the Jade Pool, so why are we having the ceremony in the Hall of Universal Brightness before going to the Jade Pool for the banquet? Nevertheless, he turned his propitious cloud around and went to the Hall of Universal Brightness. As the great sage rode his cloud, he said a spell, shook himself, took the form of the Barefoot Immortal and hurried to the Jade Pool. He reached the pavilion there a moment later, stopped his cloud and went quietly inside. What will he see in the Jade Pool? We will pause here till next time. Goodbye.